Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 Manager 23, episode 82. We begin with the monthly car development update, and we have two brand new updates that have just completed in the last few days. Neither one is ready to go on the car just yet, but they should make a difference as we have dropped off in low speed cornering from first to second, but otherwise we are still about where we left off last season, or last month, that is. Board confidence remains at medium even after we moved up to 8th place and scored our first points of the year. But medium confidence is easy enough to keep your job long term if we can get that occasional point scoring appearance. Driver development update, literally the most important thing that we do here, as Florsch might be able to grab the occasional points, but if she can't get better than this, she's not going to do more. And if Tanaka doesn't catch up rapidly or Brun catch up rapidly, it is what it is. So starting with Florsch, we have a 73 to quartering and braking. Definitely good points, though only 2. For Tanaka, 1 for cornering, which she absolutely needs, 2 for braking, which she's getting quite good at, and 1 for defending. That's definitely a helpful 4 points for her. And then for Bernadette Brun, 1 to cornering. You can see how all of them are within 10 points of each other in cornering. Braking is also very similar. In fact, Brun and Tanaka were equal to that. They're within 5 points of each other across the board. The control, though, way behind. She still very much needs it. Only a 48. Smoothness, a 54, which is not quite where Tanaka is, but she's way behind on the control part. That control is really helping Flourish outside of the mistakes she made in our last race. +1 to adaptability. We definitely don't need it. At least it's only 1 point. +1 to reactions. She definitely needed that. And +1 to accuracy. So really good, very, very good development month for Bernadette Brun. I could see her overtaking Tanaka before too long, but of course Tanaka is ahead on just raw pace. She gained 3 points, Flourish gained 2, but that's going to help both of them be a hair faster. 3 race weekends in the coming month always makes it a little bit harder to balance development, but we're managing to go into each of our race weekends at 1%, at 2%, 0% for the 3 race weekends, so we are managing the fatigue well, and on the development side, we're just about making it work out. We are just barely pulling off a slight positive on the pit crew attributes, just above 0. The car building is just fractionally below 0, only a few days too long on that one. A handful. It's definitely a handful. 2 days, about a week and a half actually, but 1 more would put us in a slight positive. However, 1 more would make us negative on the estimated pit stop time. And as you look at the dates here, as our practice coming a couple weeks prior, and we have to rest this week, we're at negative, like a positive balance here with 3 days to go in the month. It's still positive with 2 days to go in the month, and it goes negative on the final day. So we are talking about like plus 0.001, something along those lines. Very, very small margin, meaning it's neutral. Everything is neutral for the coming month. It's not progress, but there's going to be busy, hard months, and this is one of them.
70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers here in Montreal. Here's a determined Sainz lining up on the grid.
They'll be frustrated to be starting down in 10th, but they have a car good enough to move up in the race.
So let's see what today has it. The drivers are ready and raring to go. It's the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Racing here in Canada, only under fueling by 1 lap, and we're badly off the pace and not. Right? It's a little of both. We were a few tenths off the next closest car, which isn't that bad, and kind of is, right? It's definitely not the pace you want to have, a few tenths per lap. But first to last. 1.1 seconds. That's it. The whole grid is very tight, very compact. 18 cars within 8/10 of a second of each other. 2 cars, 3/10 further on. Hopefully, we can stay competitive today, but not counting on it. So we speed things along and settle in here early on. For now, we are keeping up just fine. We only have 2 breaks in DRS trains, and one was Magnussen. He's been overtaken now. It's Maloney in 15th. The other one was at the front of the grid with the 2 Red Bulls pulling away. They are quickest, comfortably quickest right now. Lap 16, Gasly suddenly lost DRS range and put us quite a ways behind. And so now we're off the back, not because of our own pacing, as I was actually trying to top up the battery. See how we're all over the back of him, but I don't see how we make contact with anybody else at the same time. Tanaka. So it's like the whole field, suddenly the DRS trains, the closeness of the entire group has suddenly opened up in a few places. Lap 19 and Florsch into turn 1 overtook Gasly, but of course now he's the one who's going to have DRS, so we might give it right back, but we'll see if our pace is good enough to catch Maloney. Or really, it's catching Hadjar. Maloney losing DRS might be an easier target. Nope, he closes right up on the hairpin. And the safety car is being deployed. We're nowhere near pit stop time. I think we should be. There's Sargent. Sargent has wrecked. Didn't have enough controlling steering lock. He understeered right into the wall. And his day is done with obvious suspension damage. I'm wondering if this is full safety car, right? Yes. We're gonna pit. We are going to pit, and the entire grid is heading down pit road with double stacks. This could be some forward movement for Florsch. We'll see how many are putting on hards and how many come out with something else, with one more stop to come for them. Pit stop issue for Russell. It's going to definitely cost him time. 2.5 for Florsch, and she's held up. By the way, I think the biggest announcement for F1 Manager 24, even Tanaka gets held up, and she's a second slow. Delayed pit stop for driver. Okay. Tanaka's
talk us through this one.
The Williams team take their places.
I see. It's 1 extra second waiting for Florsch to get out of the way. Hards could and should make it. And we are restarting, entering lap 25 of 70 with our pit stop done. Florsch did gain 2 positions despite getting held up there at the end of pit road. By the way, that biggest update that I'm talking about for the next F1 Manager is your pit box will move year on year now in the newest edition, especially having custom teams. That was a more obvious thing to introduce to the game, and in my opinion, besides fixing penalties, is probably the most important addition to the game. I did not recover extra fuel during the safety car, but the safety car did recover a lot of fuel for us anyway, and so we are a little heavy. We are going to want to push on a bit longer, but Tanaka is off pace. Florsch is off pace. How many cars have gone for the hards? Oh, not that many. Not that many. Tanaka, settle in, but push on. Neutral. Neutral for Florsch. In fact, let's start harvesting. And then standard. The hards can make it. Mediums, I don't think the mediums have any chance of making it, so it means we are looking at a lot of the grid having another pit stop at some point. Alright, this is going to come down to others pitting and having pace that is not bad compared to everybody else's, but for now we're down to 18th and 19th. The hards just not keeping up with those on the mediums. Of course, I'm always slower on the secondary compounds, and Tanaka is very quickly dropping off the pace. Holy crap, she's already 6 seconds down. And Drugovich and Florsch are 4 seconds down. This is not a good sign. Those guys are all on softs though, so. Check in on lap 44. We're only just a little bit heavy, and here comes the first pit, and it's actually Drugovich who pits and comes out a little behind Tanaka. Florsch is going to start moving up as others pit. So the inevitable pit stops are coming, but for now, Florsch only up to 16th. Just not having enough pace. These guys are going soft to soft. How? They had to have used mediums earlier or something. Because as far as I know, everybody, or just about everybody, was on the softs to open the race. And if they were just on the softs now, and they're coming out on softs, 3 sets of softs does not equate to a legal race. Others pitting. Florsch is still 17th, though. We didn't have enough pace this time. The hards did not provide us with enough pace. That much is very clear right now. Alfa Romeo makes light contact with the Alpha Tauri on the outside. The Alpha Tauri goes hard into the wall, and then the bounce off collects the Alfa Romeo, and they're both going to be out of this race. All right, outside of battery, this is push territory all the way till the end of the race, and we want to save that battery a little bit. Hadjar getting a time penalty and responsible for that one. Yellow flag, safety car deployed. This is not good for what we are trying to do, as this is going to slow up any chances we have.
But here we are,
Corsair is the latest to crash out, bring the safety car out. Totally self-inflicted. Just understeered right on into the wall. And we restart from the back of the grid once again, and there's another crash out on track. The last thing we need is another safety car, though, as it's just tearing up the laps. Any chance of going forward is getting taken out by this. Now, the only good news, though, is DNFs mean cars that we're going to finish ahead of. But finishing ahead of a single car doesn't do us any good. Every single one of these cars is on a different team. And if we don't beat anyone head-to-head, we're not getting anywhere. And Piastri is benefiting from 5 cars being out. He's all the way up in 6th, as is Maloney. If they don't start dropping down the grid order, or Albon not to move up, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble right now, and it's another safety car. Restarting the race from 14th and 15th, and coming together with each other, a lockup from Tanaka right there at the restart at the Wall of Champions. We'll see her day done. But Florsch also did get caught up in that a little bit, as she had to avoid the danger, and she's now going to have to chase from behind. And we restart with two laps to go. So the red flag was a good 20 laps ago. No, not that long ago. 13 laps ago. But we miss out because back-to-back restart safety cars has left us in a real bind here. Tanaka has caught back up. Florsch has caught back up. But even overtaking Drugovich or Magnussen, like Albon's the first one that's going to benefit us. And this is not turning out well. This is not turning out well at all. We are on full attack mode here. We are super heavy, but everybody's going to be super heavy after not racing the last 15 laps of this race out at all. I mean, we've combined for a total of 1 lap of racing in the last 13 laps. But this is the final lap, folks. No changes in position. We're all over the back there, but it's too late now. The batteries are coming up empty, and we're going to finish the day where we started, at the back of the grid. And we're going to finish the day even worse with Piastri grabbing Haas a bunch of points. Is that 8? That was our result, right? That is correct. Haas double their points. They now have 16. We remain on 8, down to 9th place, and Aston Martin even managed to pick up a point. They now have 5. Meanwhile, in the fastest pit stop competition, Florsch a 2.57. 1/10.5 slower than our average was it. And oh, right, we didn't get anything else because we only had one pit stop, and it was 3.5 seconds because of the double stack. In terms of that competition with Red Bull securing a 1-3, we now fall off to second place for the first time this season. We've been at the top throughout, and we're down to second place. We have the best average by far, but we are not pulling it together. That's new tires on. That was a mistake. So Tanaka's pit stop wasn't just being held up for the double stack. There was a mistake. And that's about the third race in a row. And there was zero fatigue heading into this one. Pit crew is just not doing well this season, even though their chance of mistake is the lowest it's ever been. And a few seasons ago, we had 2 mistakes in an entire season. We're doubling that total in 5-6 races. I think those crew chiefs might be playing a factor in why we're getting so many mistakes.
We're ready for 24 laps around the Red Bull ring in what should be a great sprint.
Drivers certainly don't shy away from overtaking on the circuit, meaning we should be in for a hotly contested competition here in Austria.
Well then, folks, it's time to get going. Here in Austria, we're all ready to go for the sprint. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And we are racing here in Austria. So Florsch, I've got her on the softs. It's a risky move. I thought the rest of the field would do it, and they haven't. She's the only one on the softs, and the softs are going to struggle to make it to the end. So I'm going to have to back off very early. I'm going to have to take it very light. I've even under-fueled for a sprint race. We've got to let the natural pace of the softs do their thing and preserve them to the end of the race. Otherwise, she's going to fade really bad late on. But I've already learned this is a track you can definitely make some overtaking moves on. Tanaka, meanwhile, is on the mediums because, you know how she is with tires. So Tanaka qualified 17th, Florsch qualified 18th, but off the line. The one on the softs got the bad start, drops a position. She's down to 19th, not helping her situation any, as we are 1 lap in, and we're already going to back off now. We also need to back off on the fuel with Tanaka to start making that up, as 24 laps is a short period of time to try to make that one work. So Tanaka's all the way up to 14th. Holy crap. Heck of a start from her, huh? Going light has worked out really well. Fantastic start from Tanaka. And with the mediums, I'm more confident in her ability to, do something here. We're immediately going to have to back off just a little bit and conserve a little bit of that fuel now and not wait till the final moments to do so. Florsch should definitely have the pace to be able to, even backing off, keep up. Field very close together. Top to bottom, the field split is small, especially with just such a quick lap here. But both are conserving that fuel well at the moment, so we'll ease off here for this couple of laps. Let things kind of get themselves in order, and then start to make some sort of forward movement where we can. But in the case of somebody like Florsch, it's going to have to come from here and not here. We got to really take it easy. You can see how just about 30%. Multiple cars have crashed. Florsch involved. Okay, well, that's her day. That's her day ruined, without a doubt.
Russell involved.
That's Florsch overtaking Russell. Russell just pushes her straight off into the gravel. She's got nowhere to go, and that's 100% Russell's fault. Minor. Ignore. I think that took a pretty hefty hit, though, on those softs, which means she's going to have a much harder time. We'll have to see after a lap here what the degradation was. Ooh. Yeah, there. About a 5% drop, give or take, which is going to make it that much harder for her to get through. Let's go ahead and ease off, close that gap back up. But she's going to have a really hard time catching up, which right now she's going backwards, and she still has fuel to recover. Meanwhile, Tanaka is losing a little bit of her gap on Gasly, so go back to racing normal here. Oh, come on, Tanaka. You're at 0.8. K-Mag, always involved in accidents these days, along with a Mercedes. Looks like K-Mag turns in on him prior to the apex. It looks like he was trying to turn it in towards the apex himself. Obviously good for us, as it's going to allow us to move up a bit. Tanaka, 15th, as Maloney's gotten around her, so she was down in 1 position, up 2 positions with that. And Florsch doesn't even get... It was Sainz, by the way, that K-Mag hit. And yes, did get the penalty. That one seemed pretty dang obvious. And now Piastri goes around too. Gosh, Tanaka just like no pace compared to anybody else, especially here on the mediums. Florsch doesn't have the pace either. Oh, and then Tanaka spins. She got going again right away. 3 laps ago, Florsch is already at 30%, but we're going to have to run the risk because right now she's ahead of Sainz, so at least she would have 1 position up on the grid order. If she can hold him off, we just have to hope she doesn't puncture. As we go into the final lap, fuel's now right on both cars. Tanaka only at 31% on the mediums. That should have easily made it. But she'll be on her final lap here momentarily. Florsch already down at 25%. And definitely not in danger of getting lapped. So she's got to still go another full lap around. Sainz is closing in on her fast, but she's at least, made it that far. Tanaka losing another position here. 22% for Florsch. No puncture yet. Tsunoda takes the win. Another Alpine victory. Stroll in second. Norris is third. Red Bull not on the podium today. Tanaka closing in on the finish line here in P16. Still ahead of Russell. Let's get one final push here down the straight. Holds him off for 16th. That's good for her. Meanwhile, Florsch at 21%. Looks like she might just make it. One last corner to go, and then to the finish line. Just 3 seconds ahead of Sainz, who was a long ways back just a little bit ago. Her pace was abysmal, both after the wing damage, but especially after we got down into the lower percentile on those softs, but at least they didn't puncture.
Here among the Austrian mountains, it's the race we've all been waiting for. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Into the race proper with Tanaka starting from P16 and Florsch from P19. We are expecting some light rain today, and it's right in between the zone of softs or mediums on when that rain should start to fall. And it might take a while. It's supposed to be a pretty light rain, so it might take a while before the conditions are bad enough. I didn't want to risk the softs, and there's a chance that this may stay on slick tires, which you want to be on softs in those situations if that is the case. So we're going to start on the mediums, which I don't know how much of the grid is going to actually bother doing that. Tsunoda on the hards, but that's a lot of softs out there that probably will end up pitting shortly before the rain comes, and if they end up turning around and having to go on to the intermediates a few laps later, 4 or 5 laps later, that could be really good for us, as we'll obviously gain from that, and this, as we already saw with Florsch. Tanaka did not have a great start, nor did Florsch for that matter. No surprise when both started on the mediums, though it was a surprise during the sprint when Tanaka managed to start extremely well on the mediums. But we are down to 19th and 20th now, as Tanaka has dropped all the way to last place. We are getting some field spread early on, but really just at the front of the grid. Huge gap, already 3 seconds to Verstappen there in 5th place. But yeah, field spread definitely a lot more prevalent than what we've been seeing. And here is that wet weather predicted. It's lap 11, both cars on the mediums, side by side, 19th and 20th, and off the back. Already 2 seconds off compared to everybody else. So we just do not seem to have the pace here at this particular track compared to some others. And there's that rain coming a lot earlier than expected. lap 14, it was not supposed to even begin falling at all until somewhere around lap 19 or 20. That took care of a lot of our fuel. Already at minus 1.3, and what the heck is... Both of our cars are off. Under safety car conditions. VSC anyway. How can you collide into each other in a VSC?
Cutting it so
They're
close.
racing each other under VSC conditions. And she's going to lose half a minute, and she's already down as it is, and she's down further because of the mistake. And we're going to have to turn around and pit again. Minor front wing damage for Flourish, so back-to-back races. That completely ruined the sprint for her, so no reason to think it would do anything less here. It also damaged both of their tires, running off in the gravel there. Oh, Tanaka gets the penalty for it. Insult to injury. Let's see if she can at least go serve it right now. We've gone green, so maybe, just maybe, we went green right before they collided with each other. I didn't see a notice that they had gone green, but it's not showing VSC anymore. Not too bad, I suppose, when we're talking about serving a penalty. And no, she didn't serve the penalty. That was all just the wing change. That was the wing change. We just only got a partial visual on it. There you go. First wave of cars are into the pits. She's only running a few laps on him, which is exactly what I was hoping would happen with those who ran the softs. And instead we've had literally the exact opposite. Tanaka's going to end up serving her penalty this time, so she'll be slow again. Flourish on pit road. And we're changing the wing, so they're both going to end up being slow. No fastest pit stop today. Hey, there's a nice visual on the wing change. 8.5 seconds. We're a good second slower than we could or should be, but by that point you've already ruined your race if you're having those collisions and having those problems. Rain has lifted a lot. We're down to 0.82, but nobody has pit. Everybody's still out there on the intermediates. Lap 44 track is drying out again. Floor's still on the lead lap, chasing down Tanaka and Hadiyar. Hadiyar is definitely off pace. We're closer than we were by a few seconds. I am pushing with Flourish right now on the fuel, as we have a lot of spare fuel, and that's obviously going to slow us down. So pushing is allowing us to speed up and make some forward progress. 4 seconds gained already as track once again gets damp. Hadiyar and Albin both seem to be in reach, where we could at least get 9th on the day if Flourish can get on through that. So we got to 12 seconds before settling back down, getting things back in order as we speed things up again, and now it's kind of holding at 12 seconds, so we're same pace or we gain. We gained 8 seconds, which is definitely nice, but to get both of them, we still need another 20, and our ability to push is getting rather limited at this point. Let's go ahead and make another push, though, for a little bit here. So Flourish ruins her own day, and then Tanaka ruins both their days. Made it within 10 seconds now. So we've closed up a few more, but again, it's not just about catching Hadiyar, it's really about catching Albin, and that's not looking like it's happening, and Russell's mistake is literally the only thing right now. Flourish probably within DRS range on Tanaka now. Yes, she is. The blue flags bring Tanaka right on by. Tanaka goes a second lap down. Gosh, we haven't seen that in a long time. Norris takes the win ahead of Sonoda, Verstappen, Leclerc, Stroll. Haas, much improved car, consistently in the points here lately, both cars in the top 11. We've gotten to within 5 seconds now of Hadiyar, but nothing doing. The chase has not succeeded. 20 seconds down. We were definitely better than at least one team today, but we were too far behind. Well, at least Tanaka's 2.5 second stop counted after her 5 second penalty, so we do get some points, but we are second and falling behind Red Bull a little bit in the fastest pit stop competition, and really not because they've been better. We've just been subpar. We have not had, well, this has been the only average pit stop time that we've had for the last 6 races, something like that. It's been quite a while. I think we had one 2.3. We had one better than average, but nearly all of our stops for the last about 6 races have been below average. We've had 2.5 after 2.5 after 2.5 after 2.6 for almost every single stop, when 2.43, 2.44 is supposed to be our average pit stop time. Team's been below average. Drivers have been below their capabilities. Tanaka has not been as bad as last season, so we've seemed to have gotten the rookie jinx out of her, but it was bad this weekend, for sure. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. And bye for now.